we must be open to new information at all times, even if it threatens our current belief system and hence identities.
Welcome back. We're on Joshua chapter 4. When all the people had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Now choose 12 men, one from each tribe. Tell them, take 12 stones from the very place where the priests are standing in the middle of the Jordan. Carry them out and pile them up at the place where you will camp tonight." "Why don't you do it yourself, Yahweh?" So Joshua called together the 12 men he had chosen, one from each of the tribes of Israel. He told them, "Go into the middle of the Jordan in front of the ark of the Lord your God. Each of you must pick up one stone and carry it out on your shoulder, 12 stones in all, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. We will use these stones to build a memorial. In the future, your children will ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' Then you can tell them, 'They remind us that the Jordan River stopped flowing when the Ark of the Lord's covenant went across. These stones will stand as a memorial among the people of Israel forever.'" Now, why is it necessary to build a memorial? I mean, doesn't Yahweh have the power to just, make it so that these children are born with this knowledge that this happened? I mean, hell, you can always, with this situation, it's like leaving it in people's hands to, describe why those stones are placed there. You can always twist what the reason is. You can always turn it into something else, all right? You can be dishonest about it. So it would really be more efficient to implant the true memories in these children's brains. Just have them born with the knowledge. It would be more efficient that way, because doing it this way, they can get a dishonest version of the story. So the men did as Joshua had commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan River, one for each tribe, just as the Lord had told Joshua. They carried them to the place where they camped for the night and constructed the memorial there. Joshua also set up another pile of 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan at the place where the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant were standing, and they are there to this day. The priests who were carrying the ark stood in the middle of the river until all the Lord's commands that Moses had given to Joshua were carried out. Meanwhile, the people hurried across the riverbed, and when everyone was safely on the other side, the priests crossed over the ark of the Lord as the people watched. The armed warriors from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh led the Israelites across the Jordan just as Moses had directed. These armed men, about 40,000 strong, were ready for battle, and the Lord was with them as they crossed over to the plains of Jericho. That day the Lord made Joshua a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites, and for the rest of his life they revered him as much as they had revered Moses. The Lord had said to Joshua, "Command the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant to come up out of the riverbed." So Joshua gave the command. As soon as the priests carrying the Ark of the Lord's Covenant came up out of the riverbed, and their feet were on high ground, the water of the Jordan returned and overflowed its banks as before. Hang on, I want to go back to this. When it says, the Lord had said to Joshua, "Command the priests." Why is it necessary to command the priests? Why can't Yahweh just program them with the knowledge that they are supposed to do this? The people crossed the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month. Then they camped at Gilgal, just east of Jericho. It was there at Gilgal that Joshua piled up the 12 stones taken from the Jordan River. Again, why was it necessary to make Joshua pile up the stones? Why didn't Yahweh do it himself? Then Joshua said to the Israelites, "In the future your children will ask, 'What do these stones mean?' Then you can tell them, 'This is where the Israelites crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the river right before your eyes, and he kept it dry until you were all across, just as he did at the Red Sea when he dried it up until we had all crossed over. He did this so all the nations of the earth might know that the Lord's hand is powerful, and so you might fear the Lord your God forever." Okay, sure, that's one way for Yahweh to display his glorious power. But if you think about it, instead of waiting for these people to arrive at some sea or some river for him to part, it would really save a lot of time if he just, picked them up and relocated them to wherever he wanted them to, be arriving at, wherever their destination is. You know, think of all the walking these people have been doing throughout the course of these past few books. You know, a lot of that really could have been avoided if Yahweh just, you know, picked them up and put them where he wanted them. All right? You know, these people, you know, we know from earlier chapters in other books that these people are fucking impatient. You know, and Moses was up on top of that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Those people were getting impatient. They're like, oh, we're going to build this golden bull calf and we're going to start worshiping and praying to him. You know, that whole thing could have been avoided if, you know, Yahweh just wasn't taking so goddamn long. All right? I really, you know, what I'm seeing here is Yahweh's just really being inefficient. Yeah, anyway, that was Joshua chapter 4. We will be back with Joshua chapter 5. You guys have a good one. Peace out.